Welcome to the Washdown podcast. And on today's episode, we have Jason Holm coming back. He is a firefighter paramedic, and we're going to talk about his time in Valiant and the lessons that he learned there. Had a great time shooting the episode. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Here is episode 155 with Jason Holm.
All crews stand by for emergency traffic. All crews stand by for emergency traffic.
That's the unit with the mayday. Go ahead with your traffic.
To keep this system of greatness moving forward.
I quit. I'm done. I'm just going to sit here.
Can you imagine if we had this thing on the rig and we can actually hear each other?
We used to.
I know.
We used to, yeah. The reserves that we have used to have them.
Yeah. And then everybody just took them and chucked them because for some reason being deaf is better than.
No, they didn't. That wasn't it. They didn't.
My loss of hearing is my scar.
Yeah. No, they worked fine. People just didn't want to use them.
So the system is supposed to be where you can talk to each other, and then the captain has an extra button where you hit the button, you talk to dispatch.
Right.
That button never worked.
No, that button did work.
Did not work.
It did work.
Did not work.
It did work.
We just broke it like everything else.
It's because people wanted to listen to the radio and did some creative wiring. It messed those buttons up.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's your version. All I know is I never saw anybody do anything like that.
Jason.
Yes, sir.
Hi, buddy.
Hi.
Welcome to the Washdown podcast.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that was a good episode. Let's wrap it up.
All right.
Sweet. I need a nap.
We're doing now condensed episodes.
You good? You're good, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See? Had an issue, fixed it, he's good. That's the episode.
I'm a brand new man.
Got to love Cliff Notes, man.
Yeah.
It's the TikTok version of podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You're going to have to talk.
I know.
Episode.
I'm going to talk.
I have no idea what's going on with this one, so.
You have no idea?
Nope.
Okay.
You'll learn.
All right. Well, why don't you kick us off, Jason?
What do you want me to start with?
Well, just start with why you're here.
So, oh boy. Why am I
You
here?
say Jeremy made you.
Jeremy and James, they asked me if I would like to return because my first time was so wonderful. And this will probably be on a little bit more serious note. Last time I was on,
It was just a little bit further away from you. Yeah.
There we go.
You're,
Is that good?
that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last time I was on, it was pretty relaxed. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was, we talked about hunting and that kind of stuff. So this time is probably going to be a little bit more applicable to everything that you guys talk about on a daily basis. So yeah, I am excited for it. I think we should have a good time today.
Cool. Well, let's dive into it.
All
man.
right.
That's your cue. That's
Well, how about this? Since we're going to have to...
You're going to have to prompt me.
Yeah, since we're going to have to hold your hand through this episode,
Yeah.
how about this? How about you catch us up on what you have been doing since the last time you were on?
So since the last time I've been on, there's been a lot of things change. Actually, I'm engaged now. Just bought a house. So, within the last couple months, we actually just moved into it on Thursday. We're getting everything all done up and right in there. Still got a lot of work to do, but so engaged, bought a house. Still working for the fire department quite a bit. And then I've been on a couple different vacations that have been a lot of fun. So pretty much just living that kind of thing. So
Cool.
yeah.
You're going to make me ask, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you went to treatment.
I did. I went to treatment. I was in, I went to Valiant, and it was last June is when I went. And I was in there for, I think till about September. So right before hunt season, which was fantastic. The timing was great.
Well, yeah, at least you got out on time.
Yeah, I got out on time. I was not a super senior, like, you know.
Go fuck yourself.
But
You know, some people just have a lot more to work on.
that is true. And
Yeah.
and he was James was in class with me. It was you know, he was towards the end when I started. But we were still in there for a couple weeks, month, something like that together.
A couple months.
So yeah, it was good to have somebody that I knew in there. You know, definitely try to talk through some things and work some things out. And it's pretty incredible that, you know, in the group setting that that just listening to what somebody else has to say and somebody else's story can actually how relatable it is. Like, you would think that, you know, two people with two completely different stories and have been through two completely different things, they actually, in a lot of ways, can mesh pretty well. I mean, with the way, you know, that makes you feel and that kind of thing. So, it was definitely a great thing for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, you go, and especially whenever you're doing therapy in the group setting, you figure out that, oh, I'm not the only person who's been through this. Other
Right.
people are going through the same crap that I'm going through.
Yeah.
You know, because that's one of the things, and we talk about it a lot of, you know, that you feel alone when you're
Right.
going through that stuff. And that's just not the case, you
And,
know?
like, I mean, because you'd be like, and for those that don't know about Valiant, I mean, we had to write a lot of papers and that kind of thing. Kind of, they would tell us what, like, hey, you're gonna write about this today. You're gonna write about this the next day, and we're gonna get to the bottom of all this shit. But when you're writing this stuff, you're like, man, nobody's gonna get this. Nobody's gonna understand this. Like, I'm gonna sound like a huge bitch during this, and then everybody responds, and they're like, hey, like, I've done the same thing, or like, you know, I've had similar deals go on, and it's just like, no way. Like,
Yeah. Yep. And what's funny is, you know, it's not just exclusively firemen or,
No.
you know, cops or veterans or whatever. We all go in and we all have the same,
right.
it's the same story, just a different version,
Yep.
you know? So what was the point, or, you know, the breaking point? Why did you go to treatment?
So a lot of different things. I mean, I knew for a while that I probably needed to go, but just the 27-year-old in me, and before that even, it's like, no, I ain't gonna go talk to somebody. What the hell do I need to do that for? Like, I'm not gonna, you know, like, I'm tough enough to get through this shit on my own. Like, I don't need anybody to tell me that I have issues and problems that I need to work on. Like, I'll just figure it out. Well, that didn't work.
It very rarely does.
No. And I mean, it just kind of compounded and made everything worse in my life. I mean, I still had a lot of happy, good times during, you know, a lot of my depression and stuff like that. But everything kind of compounded, and I was having a failing relationship, and you know, work was not enjoyable for me at all. When I was at home, I didn't have any energy to do anything, and like telltale signs of like depression, and, you know, pretty much anything that would inconvenience me would piss me off. I mean, I'd get some, and I mean, I wouldn't say that it was uncontrolled anger, but I definitely didn't have a real good grip on things that would make me angry. So yeah. And as the biggest thing that probably pointed me there was my relationship. And I mean, she could see it, like, look, dude, you're not yourself anymore. You're not happy. You're not the same person that you were when we met. I was like, I agree. And I mean, I was very, very upset about it. But at the same time, like, I really couldn't look at her and be like, you know, you're wrong. Like, I mean, I knew it. It wasn't a secret to me. It probably wasn't really a secret to anybody else. that I had some shit that I needed to work on. And so that's kind of what led me there. And from the moment that I stepped in there, I mean, James was in class and he told me, like, the first couple weeks of this are going to be pretty rough. And I'm like, okay, well, they were.
Yeah.
Because
it's almost like we know what the fuck we're talking about.
So yeah, that's basically what got me there. Just letting things compile over time and not ever taking care of them. And it just led to one thing after another. And then I just kind of felt like I hit rock bottom, and that's why I was there. I didn't really know what to do. Wasn't super happy at work. Wasn't super happy at home. Really wasn't happy anywhere. So,
yeah, dude, that's a common story, and it's becoming more and more evident in these career fields. I mean, yeah, you have that one-off of the one bad call, right? And people want to talk about that, but it's really, for us, it's more the accumulation.
Right.
It's bad call after bad call after bad call, and not dealing with those things.
Yeah.
And then that leads you down a path of where you have to end up in treatment.
Yeah.
You got to take care of that shit.
And that's just the job. That doesn't include any family stressors. It doesn't include not being engaged to a flight nurse. It's, she ain't sitting in a 9 to 5, bank cush job. Like, her job is just as stressful too. And, if you can't be, if somebody's not that piece in that relationship, it'll just destroy it from the inside out. And I remember, I never told you this yet, but I remember when you got done and you guys took your trip where you proposed to her, I walked into the bathroom at the fire station and fucking cried. Because I remember, like, I was kind of towards, being the super senior in my 9th year of redshirting.
Had a few injury red shirts in there too.
I remember talking to her and just saying, I promise you with all I have, if you are patient with him through this, he will be the man that you want. And I literally, she, by the grace of God, I think trusted me, trusted the process, trusted you. And here you guys are.
I still remember probably the first week or within the first couple of days of me being in there. You're like, look, don't fuck this up.
That's the best advice you'll ever get, though.
Yeah.
Straight to the point.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't sugarcoat shit.
No.
It's straight to the point is always best.
Yeah.
And especially like for the people in this career field, whenever it does come time for them they've hit that point where we need to be inpatient, or we need like extensive therapy, like sugarcoating it is not going to work for us.
Right.
It's just not. Well, let me take that back. Let me slow roll that of it might work for some.
Yeah.
It will, because everybody's different. For a majority of us, it seems like, no, we got to get hit over the head with a fucking bat.
Yeah.
For it to,
Well, and that's what I talk about with David's program the Valiant program. Same for Valor. When you went through, like, people are like, what it's like. I'm like, well, you're just going to spend a few weeks of getting told you're fucking stupid, and then you'll walk out and be better. I don't know how else to explain it.
Disclaimer, he is 100% correct. Right.
Well, it gets you to the point of, and not just his program, but there's other programs that are similar. It gets you to the point of actually facing what's your problems are.
Right. And I mean, it is very intimidating to, it's not like, well, I'm going to start by saying this. I didn't want, we had that David gave his presentation or whatever in some school or some auditorium for all of us. And, I saw what kind of a guy he was. I mean, he's fired up, he's excited, and, you could definitely tell that he was passionate about being there. And, when I was thinking about, or when I was like, okay, I need to probably do something about this, and actually, and then I reached out and kind of was feeling out what kind of options there were as far as his treatment and stuff like that. And I didn't want somebody to just sit across the table from me and tell me like, well, this is you're going to be okay. This, none of this is on, like, fuck that. No, I didn't want that. Like I wanted somebody that would hold me accountable and tell me shit that I didn't want to hear. Like I didn't want none of the sugarcoating. Like that's never ever worked for me. Like, give me a half-ass comment. I'm gonna be like, fuck you. but so that's why I was very, very excited about it. And he definitely holds you accountable. And it is very, very intimidating to sit in a room full of people that you really don't know. You might know one or two guys in there, and that's probably about it. That's really probably all I knew was 2 or 3 people in there, and everybody else, you have no idea who they are. And you're going to sit down and you're going to read your life story and just hope that, David doesn't rip you apart for one. Like, he doesn't want you to write what he wants you or what you think he wants you to hear. Like he wants you to sit down and tell it how it is. And then he's going to give you feedback and everybody else is going to give you feedback. So that, for the first time I was very, very, very nervous about it. Well,
you don't make any progress if you are doing that.
Right.
If you're just writing what you think the therapist wants to hear, if you're not being honest,
right,
that's the very first step, is you have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Of these are the issues. This is the problem. This is where I'm at. And then you can start making progress.
Right.
So, and that's a problem.
Yeah, for sure. And I didn't have to do it, but there was a couple other times where he's like, that was terrible. Rewrite. You're like, damn it. So,
yeah, well, that's pushing people out of their comfort zone.
It is. And probably most of the reason why people were there is because, they've internalized all this stuff and they don't ever want it to come out because they're too ashamed or guilty of, whatever was bothering them. And then like, here's your opportunity, dude. Like, time to let it out. And then they still know when you're not, telling them. Like, they know if you're trying to beat around the bush or not tell the story to its completion. And they're like, that's not going to happen. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. And like I said, if you don't start by being honest with yourself and with your therapist, then you're not going to make any progress.
Right.
So, and in those type of programs, like the Center for Excellence and David's program and that kind of stuff, that's very common. That's what they push because they know they have you for a condensed amount of time and the wheels have fucking fallen off or they're about to fall off.
Yeah.
Whenever you've reached out for help.
Uh-huh.
So how much further do you want to go? If you want to just like go through the motions and like, oh, I'm going to go do this and then I'll be able to keep my job or I'll be able to do, this or whatever. Don't give lip service to that shit.
Right.
And that's the problem that I have kind of seen is we have people that go, oh yeah, I need to go to therapy, or they get in trouble and then it's mandated that they go. And then it's checking a box.
Right.
And you're never going to fix any problems just checking a box.
No. And that's why, you could definitely tell who was going to be successful in the end. The people that put the most amount of work into it and really just kind of poured everything out there. You could tell, like, you could pretty much look at them and be like, well, you're getting better by the day. You've got this basis of skills that we're learning. And, I can see you applying them and kind of looking at things in a different perspective, even, through your writing and stuff like that. And you could tell like this person's like doing a kick-ass job. So
it was always fun watching the light bulb moments for people.
Right.
Like, we would hit a class and for me, I definitely would say it was probably the schema shifting or the intimacy class, but it was just one of those where you left almost feeling dumber than you came in, and you're like, those were your light bulb classes, and that's what was so cool about that program. Was this was like you never knew what it was that day. Like You hoped it wasn't narratives, especially if you didn't have yours done. But yeah, it was not easy.
No.
You got to do your homework, man.
What?
You got to do your homework.
In class?
Like, yeah, you got to have your narrative done before you show up. Come on, man.
It's just when you would think like he would start to get a pattern to it. You're like, oh, okay. I think like my Tuesdays are usually narratives. You're like, all right, like, and then like you could pass it by on Tuesday and then he'd be like, all right, it's Wednesday narratives again. Who doesn't have it done? And you're like, fuck. And then like a couple times we got like a whole class talking to for whether it was our narrative. What was it that Cam always yelled at us to get done?
The grids.
The grids. We didn't get our grids done.
Yeah, that was bad.
We legit had a great class. Like a lot of good people in there putting in the work. Like overall, it was great, but we didn't do our homework worth a fuck.
No. I must have just been the A+ honor student because all of mine was done.
What would Jason, what would you say? Take us through kind of your time in the program, especially this with your fiance and with your jobs. What were some things they noticed, you noticed, improvements as you went along the way?
I'd say the biggest thing overall that everybody has kind of been able to notice is just like I still have a little bit of a fire in me at times. Like with, there's a lot of things that inconvenienced me before that would I would blow up, and that's how I would express myself was with anger. And through the class, we learned that anger's an emotion. You're going to feel angry at times. And you're never going to eliminate it, but this is how you control it. This is how, you take whatever is happening and this is how you can kind of show that instead of, blowing up and acting like a shithead. So definitely a lot of the things that would have pissed me off before. I still get angry about it, but I don't show it in the same manner that I always would have. I feel like my attitude about a lot of different things has been way better. I have more energy. I don't feel depressed like I used to, which is good. And that's probably about the things that people notice about me the most is that I'm more motivated. I have a better attitude and that I don't let the silly shit get to me the way that I used to. And just those three things, have completely changed how I've lived the past. I was done with class in September, so 7 or 8 months, something like that. So
yeah.
When you guys, one of the classes I always thought was interesting is the class on emotion. I don't know that I was there for you with this one, but do you remember what your primary emotion was? Was it anger? Or was it did it come from anxiety or depression or what got it to that? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. Not right off the top of my head.
Because that was one for me, as I always thought mine was anxiety, and it ended up being anger for me. And I was like, son of a bitch.
I think pretty much everybody who goes through that program, their primary emotion is anger, is how we express everything. Because I know because Bart and I were in there together, and David used to call us his angry corner. Because, we would just sit in the corner and talk shit. And just look mad, I guess. I don't know.
So my girlfriend just had her final out last week, actually. And one of it for hers, she thought hers was just sadness or anxiety. And David's like, no, you're just an angry motherfucker. it rocked her fucking world. Because we are used to the outward the screaming, the yelling, the throwing things, the loud, whatever it may be, is anger. And that was something I learned in there that is a subset of what anger looks like.
Oh, yeah. It's whenever you get really angry or you're letting that stuff kind of get to you like that, it can present in a bunch of different ways. You know, like the tightness in your shoulders and your jaw, the pacing, like all of that stuff. I mean, that's just anger.
Right.
And people think like, oh no, it's anxiety or whatever. No, it's just because you're fucking mad over some dumb shit that you probably should just let go.
That you can't control a lot of times.
Yeah.
Or like, and that was probably one of my favorite topics in the class was like power and control, because for a long time I felt like I was really good about just letting shit go. that I couldn't, if there's nothing I can do about it, why am I going to worry about it? I mean, but as time has progressed, like, it was all the shit that I couldn't do anything about that was like, why am I, that would ruin my day. It's like, because like, I think what I got a really, really good base with that when I was playing sports, just because like I had a lot of really good coaches and stuff like that. And they all like, and I used to pitch and in high school and stuff, like one of my coaches would be like, just, I'd throw a meatball right down the middle and, somebody'd whack it over the fence. And it's like, or vice versa, you'd make a really good pitch and they'd still hit it over the fence, or, you'd make a really good pitch and the shortstop let it go through his legs. And then, they'd just be like, dude, just control what you can control. And it's like, well, that makes a lot of sense. Like I can't control any of that other shit. All I have to do is worry about what I need to do, what has to be done. And for a long time, I felt like I was really, really good at that. And then, through my 20s and kind of different experiences, different stresses, big boy jobs and that kind of stuff, like I just kind of lost touch with that. And it was everything that I had nothing that I could do about that would, eat me alive. So,
yeah, well, it builds on itself. It's that one time onto the next time, onto the next time, onto the next time until, you're letting stuff that normally wouldn't have bothered you bother you.
Right.
It's because of all of the other shit that you haven't dealt with. And it's that, the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. That's what it is. It's a cumulative effect.
For sure.
What? You guys just look at me when you guys don't have nothing else to say?
I figured you'd pipe up
what
to something for that cumulative effect. 1, 2, 3, go.
Great job, Jason. Good to have you on the Washdown podcast today, as always, if you remember. No, actually, too, who we haven't heard shit from today?
Yeah, for somebody who was like crazy verbose last time we did a podcast, now you're just sitting back not saying shit. Is it because you feel left out because you didn't go through one of David's programs?
No, I just don't have the same experience that you guys do, and I'm just listening and enjoying, giving facial expressions when the camera's on me.
Holy shit!
Maybe a little two-gunner.
The wink and the gun.
Can we at least get like a damn that's crazy throughout? So
I don't have much to add right now. Well, I mean, the control thing. Think about it. Most of the things that we get angry about in this profession, we have zero control over.
Like the fucking bells going off.
I mean, you think about it, the call volume, the types of calls, the responses you get from the public, people not moving over. I mean, look, all these things add up, and eventually your only response left is anger because you're so frustrated because you have zero control of anything. It's a natural progression.
Yeah, and I think it's really kind of a weird thing for us because we are expected to be in control. Yeah. Like whenever we show up to a call, we're expected to get everything under control. And then we have so much that's out of our control all the time.
But I would rather have you blow up on the way in the rig and get it out of your system. That way you don't blow up while you're face to face with the public.
Right.
Jason, did you know?
I'll listen to you. I will listen to you rant and rave and bitch and moan. I'm cool with it. Second that door opens, shut the fuck up. Let's get our job done. And then we'll deal with it later. Because we still have a job that we're expected to do by the public.
Jason, did you notice changes in your, being a medic, did you notice changes in your patient care?
Yes. Because I mean, you know that we see people every day that are going to test us, and that it's like, you called me. Why are you being a dickhead to me? Like, so, and most of it now is just like, it's a lot of, if somebody's trying to actively piss me off, like patients and stuff like that, it's just like, I just sit there and just let them have it. Like, I don't let them have it, but it's I just sit there and, like,
you sit there and listen.
Are you done? Like, are we ready to? I don't even really give them the, are we ready to start acting like adults anymore? But,
I may or may not have seen somebody do that on a call one time.
Was it what I forgot what I do?
The guy who was on the front porch who OD'd. You kind of gave him a little bit of a talking to.
Huh? Did we run him again? Must have worked.
No. I don't know. It was while I was floating.
But see, that's the thing. Sometimes if you let that patient get it out, just like in the rig, if you let somebody get it out, you kind of fix that problem.
right.
And I'm not saying you fix it overall, but for that moment, you kind of bring them back under control. They just needed a release. And sometimes we are that release in our job. Just like in your role as a company officer or mine, sometimes you have to let your firefighters, your driver vent. Just get it out.
But you can have a little more, like, you can say things to them you can't say to your wife, like, are you done?
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel better? Okay, go cook dinner. Oh, wait, I said it to my wife too.
I said that to Rachel last night. Jackson was over here and he was setting up at the counter in the kitchen watching Sonic on the little Google thing. And Rachel was making dinner or whatever. And I think I had to go let the dogs out. And I was like, she said something about she was going to finish up the dishes after, and then Jackson and I could come down here and play Nerf guns and stuff and Hot Wheels or whatever we were going to do. And I was like, yep, get in there and do woman's work.
In the arms.
Hey, I made it through the night.
That's good.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure I'm being poisoned slowly over time. I don't blame her. She poisoned me too.
You check this water.
How come this chicken smells like almonds? It's a little weird.
So Jason, what to someone that hasn't been to this program, or I'm sure there are plenty of people in public service that are you, like, what, when it comes to the type of therapy that David was, the intensive outpatient, 3 days a week, like, what would you recommend, or like, what would you tell other people that are curious, like, if they say, I don't know that I need that or whatnot, like, what would you justify that program to them?
Well, if anybody says that they don't need it, I would question that. I think everybody, especially in our line of work, law enforcement, fire department, military, nursing, it's probably a good idea for everybody to talk to somebody, because we deal with some stuff that nobody else really is ever going to have to deal with or see or hear or any of that kind of stuff. Just at work. That's not even including, your family, your social life, all those other things in life that aren't related to the job. So I would probably, I'd probably recommend it. Like, hey, like, no, this is a good thing. It was a great thing for me. I learned a lot. I would definitely tell them that you're going to get out of it what you put into it. If you go in there with the idea that you're going to do the minimum and be able to achieve anything, I would pretty much flat out tell them they're wrong. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of time. Cause the first couple weeks were it was Monday through Friday, for 3 hours a day. And then after that, it was 3 days a week for 3 hours a day. And we were in there for a couple months. So it's not, it's not the easiest thing to maneuver. And probably one of the most unique struggles that we probably had was, you get off a shift in the morning and, have a rough one And then I got to sit in class for 3 hours a day and try to listen and try to get something out of this. So if you're not 100% in, like, it's going to be probably pretty difficult for you. But if you go in with the mindset that, hey, like, I have some stuff I need to work on, and these people are going to show me kind of the road to get there, you'll be very successful. But it definitely is a huge, you have to take a lot of the responsibility on your own shoulders and, get there and do the things you need to do.
Well, and that's a perfect example of why we have to start going earlier instead of waiting for the wheels to fall off,
Right.
because there are very limited places where we can go inpatient, and go into a program like that of, you have to find coverage at work, or your employer has to cover it, or, whatever the case may be. There's hurdles that you have that we have hurdles to barriers to get to treatment. Right.
Right.
A lot of people, oh, fuck it. No, it's too complicated or whatever. Like, we kind of need to make it a little bit easier.
And that was frustrating for me. Because I had to, when I called or whatever, and as far as like getting it covered and stuff like that, they wouldn't do it for me. I had to use my own sick time to go for the first 2 weeks, which, whatever. I'm glad I did it. That's sick time for, getting better, hopefully for the rest of my life. But it was just kind of like, as open and honest as I'm being about this whole thing to everyone, for you to make this more difficult than it needs to be. Like, I was kind of like, this doesn't make any sense. But
yeah, well, and that's the unfortunate reality for a lot of police departments and fire departments.
Right.
It's the buy-in for mental health treatment is all over the place. One department does it really well. The department right down the street is pretty fucking shitty at it.
Right.
So
something I've noticed too, Jeremy, having gone through this program, obviously we say all the time, we talk about how the public service is behind on a lot of this stuff. We're making progress, but we're a little behind. Where I noticed after completing this program, where kind of that dividing line was like, if you say, hey, I'm going to see a counselor. Oh, great, man. Good for you. Hey, I'm getting in a treatment program. Oh, that's like what? Like, that's where I kind of noticed that dividing line was. Like, we're kind of cool seeing somebody, but if you say we're in a program, then that's where people I've noticed are still kind of apprehensive, I guess would be the word.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of that is, I don't know, maybe the people that are in charge of some departments, just like I said, don't have the buy-in for it, and they don't understand what it is. And, they don't understand that sometimes we have members that they're at that point where they need to be in a program. Like, going to see a counselor once a month or once every 2 weeks isn't enough for a lot of people. And it's because of, we've went so long, like, I can handle it myself. I can do this, all that stuff. And we've procrastinated and not done the right things. And then we get to that point where it's, oh shit, I need to be in a program. And they still, it's a lack of understanding, a lack of knowledge, I think.
I know it seemed kind of tabooish, I guess, for me, because I was proposed with the ultimatum of, like, if you don't get in David's program, I'm commuting you to inpatient. And they had everything they needed to do so too. And I remember when I went to do my intake, I just was so, because it was weird. It was like, program, I don't want to do a program. Can I just see somebody once every 2 weeks and talk to them about it? Like, and I was just so in a place that I hate to sound cheesy, but surrendered to it, of just, being so just tired of the front, that walking in there, I was like, whatever, just help.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is whenever we finally do decide that we want help, we want it right now, because we have fucked it off until, we need it right now.
Right.
And once a month thing is not going to work.
No, and for me, I'm glad you brought that up because I was actually thinking about that right before you said that. Like the once a month or once every couple of weeks for me would have failed because it made you have to look at things differently when, you're confronted with situation A here and you were just in class today and you got to go back tomorrow. Like, you got to use your skills. Like if I would have saw somebody like once a month or something like that, like I would have failed miserably. Like it wouldn't have worked because I got somebody holding me accountable every other day in that program versus somebody that's going to ask me how I did over the last month. Like, it would have been completely different.
Well, and you bring up a really good point about skills, right? And that's kind of what the goal is with a lot of these programs and just therapy in general. A lot of times, it's allowing you to talk things out or to do EMDR and process things and all this stuff. But it's also what you should be doing is learning skills to where you're handling these situations on your own. And I think that's something probably we don't talk about enough is the acquisition of those skills. Learning that stuff to where you can go, okay, this is the situation. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I need to do, and you have that tool in your toolbox to where you can take that, what would normally have been just another stack or another item that you put in your box that you're going to carry around. Now you can go, okay, I'm going to take this out, deal with it. Boom, boom, done. And I can continue on. And that shit didn't accumulate.
Right.
It really was too, like, I looked at it when I was done. I looked at it kind of like house insurance, right? Like we put ourselves through education. Jason, like, for example, you and I and Chris, medics, right? We went through medic school. It fucking sucked.
Yeah.
It was not fun, but like we busted our asses to do it. And we sat there and we learned and we cataloged those skills to go forth and do a career. The house insurance payment was valiant. Like, I still need to get the education required in a classroom setting to protect my skills. And by protecting my skills, I mean not fucking kill myself.
Right.
And it's interesting. Like, we're willing to sit through the class for our career, but not for the class to protect our career.
Right. And the class for the career was much longer and much more painful.
Man, my school wasn't that bad.
Oh, shut up.
You guys make it sound like it was the worst thing ever. It was just time consuming.
Take your hat off. Exactly.
Dude, I was...
Exactly.
Have you met you haven't met my dad.
Stand up.
Well, I've been short and fat for a long time. And bald for a long time. I was balding before medic school.
He was balding in the academy.
Yeah.
He was 20 years old.
I was 22. Fuck off. That's just bad genetics.
Yeah.
How is Jason? How's your? Might as well call it a marriage now. How's your marriage?
It's actually very, very, very good. Like I said, we got engaged in October in Colorado, which was incredible. We were at Estes Park, so I mean, great views, all that kind of stuff. We bought a house, and like I said, we're moving into it. So everything's still kind of a little bit of a mess. But as far as our relationship goes, I mean, I feel like we communicate better than we probably ever have. We're definitely more in tune with what the other person needs, more than ever as well. And we're doing that, in different careers that are almost, the same, which she actually got a new job, starting next week. So our schedules will align a little bit better, which is good because it was pretty difficult to maneuver everything when we're both on 24-hour shifts, and there's no real rhyme or reason to her schedule. Is just kind of somebody would throw it together, where ours is like
at least rhythmical.
Yeah, I could look 9 years in advance. If I don't go anywhere, it's going to be the same. Like I'll tell you what day I'm working. So yeah, I mean, we're definitely we're excited for everything that's coming. It's going to be a lot of work as far as getting everything planned. We're getting married in September. So we're kind of right in in the heart of all the planning and that kind of stuff. So
That's a lot of fun.
Destination wedding or just?
well, kind of. Most of her family is from Nebraska. That's where I'm from.
That's
too,
not a
so
destination.
That's
Bro, like
nobody from
no.
the job will come. It's too far away.
I want to come.
I know you're going to come.
Something I am curious about. David said this a lot. He said, especially when it came to like spouses, sometimes too, you will see the relationship almost get worse because as you get healthier, your partner sometimes gets more unhealthy and gets worse. But I never took that with her as that might be an issue. But how did she grow from you being in there as well?
Well, she kind of was talking to people. She had a therapist as well, that she was talking to while I was going through this. And I didn't ever really feel like that. I felt like as I got healthier, we got stronger, which was good. That's, kind of the goal of what needed to happen. So yeah, I mean, I never really saw anything like that. I didn't ever really pick out any unhealthy tendencies or feel like I was any better than her because I was doing something that she wasn't or vice versa.
Did you find yourself coming home and not necessarily like teaching the lessons, but talking about things you learned there that she began to adapt kind of in the relationship too?
After a while I did, for the first couple, probably 2-3 weeks, something like that.
That time's just a train wreck anyway.
And she's, that she would kind of be like, well, what did you learn today? And I'm like, I cannot fucking talk about this. Like,
I don't know. I was there for 3 hours. I blacked out.
And it was not that, but it was just like, the first couple weeks you are so involved and it is a completely new schedule. And, you're talking about shit that you've never talked about with really anybody. So you come home and whether you worked or not the night before or whatever, you are drained. Like just, and you're listening to other people's stories and that, and that kind of thing. Like you come home and you were exhausted, you are mentally drained and you're just like, okay, like I told her, I'm like, I just cannot talk to you about, like, I will tell you about this stuff later, but right now, like we can't talk about it. So,
well, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time to get comfortable talking about, especially whenever you're, I think it's easier to share that kind of stuff with people you don't know than it is with the person that you love the most.
Yeah.
And, it takes time to get to that point where it's like, look, this is it. This is me. This is what has gone on. This is what it is. And then it takes time to come out in public and talk about it.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not easy. It's never easy the first time.
No.
So, but it's one of those things where the more people that we have that will come out and talk, the better it'll be for everybody else because you inspire somebody else to go get some help or, start doing the things the right way that they need to do.
Right. And so like, I mean, after a while, I would never act like I was teaching her the class or anything like that, but I'd be like, this is kind of what we talked about today. This is kind of what I learned and got from it. And that kind of thing. I mean, so she definitely, she is a very, very good listener. So she
puts up with your shit.
Well, yeah, there's that too. I don't know which one's probably easier.
You are having been done with this class now though too, you do carry a responsibility with that. Like it is your responsibility now to advocate. And
right.
David always said you'll leave the class seeing sad eyes. And that was one of the hardest realizations for me was that like you just look at these people and you're like, you need treatment. And then you recognize it as quick as you recognize somebody needing CPAP. Like you just, you know what I mean? And how have you kind of embraced that role and responsibility, at least with kind of the younger guys on your crew or just around those you work with?
To be 100% honest with you, I haven't like openly went out and like started advocating for people to go, which is on me. But everybody that I work with, and as far as my life outside of work, got 2 dogs and fiance. I really don't, I go go to the gym, and I got a pretty small radius and a pretty small circle of places that I'll go. But I kind of, if somebody wants to talk about it, I'll talk to them about it. That's no problem at all. And I'll do everything I can to make sure that you're doing all right or get what you need. But I've kind of just tried to let the change in me kind of be what people see. Like, I don't know if people want to listen to my story at all. And to me, it doesn't really matter. But what I want to be is the best version of me. And I know people saw what I was before. And I just kind of want to be a good example, mostly. So
how much were you distracting yourself between work and hunting and everything else?
Oh, it was that that was probably the biggest downfall of everything, other than my emotions and the things that happened to me before I got on the job and stuff like that. I mean, it was a huge distraction. And I don't want to say anything bad about anybody or anything, but I mean, that was my life. That was my, I'd work so I could hunt, and I would, I'd spend all my money trying to get, a business going that ultimately didn't work out, but it is what it is. I mean, kind of dealt with that, but it was very, very disappointing for me when that ended. I mean, I was fucking pissed. But that would be all I thought about, all I would, really talk about or anything. I mean, that was what my life was. So it would kind of drown out everything else. So.
Well, yeah, because if everything else sucks, then let's just add something else to throw myself into.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what it was. It was really nothing more than that. And then now that I'm on the outside of it, I mean, and even while I was doing it, like, it really wasn't that much fun. I mean, it was just something to take my mind off of everything else that pissed me off or, made me sad or anything like that. And it was, now, I can go do it. There's no pressure. There's nothing I still took a decent amount of time off this year and went, and kind of did my own thing by myself, but there's no pressure involved. It was either like, well, I'm going to try to kill something today. Or, and I had, like, I've told a lot of people this, like, I wasn't super successful this year. I mean, I'd spent a lot of time deer hunting. I spent a couple weeks or, really only a couple days waterfowl hunting, but, my success didn't define my season. Like, I felt like this year I spent more time. I did a lot of learning, and I've told people, like, I think I had probably the best season I've had ever. I didn't even,
Well, you got more enjoyment out of it.
Exactly. I mean, it was like, we had pretty good success when I waterfowl hunted with the fellas, but like deer season wise, I mean, it was rough, but I learned a lot. I went into it. I had a completely different attitude about it. Like, and I was hunting on some stuff I've never hunted before. A really, really big piece of property, and I was hunting like one or two deer, and that was it. And I saw them a lot of times and just wasn't able to get it done. But I did a lot of different things I'd never done before. So it was a huge learning experience for me. So at the end of the day, as before, I got a lot of different perspective and attitude about things. Like, it wasn't a loss. Like, it was a huge win. I learned a lot of shit. It just didn't work out. I didn't get the end result that I wanted, but it doesn't mean it's a loss. It was a lot of other wins in there. So,
yeah. Well, it's never a loss if you gain knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just going to make you better for the next season.
Right.
So there's always something that you can take away from going through the process.
Yep.
And that's kind of one of the things that we stress with, you might go to a therapist or you might go to a program and it might not be the best thing for you. Right. You can still learn something from it. And at the very least, you learned that's not for me. Like, I got to go try something else.
Yep.
you're coming up on your time sooner before you know it, Jason, is you are going to transition from a kind of unofficial leader to an official leader on this job. What have you kind of learned along the way, especially after this program, that you're going to take with you into that role?
It's really, well, and this, like me, I don't think people actually knew really anything that was going on. I mean, it was kind of with me at least. So,
because you sat right there and gave us a good old bullshit front about last time you were on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were really good at
it. Can't bullshit a bullshitter. But so you never really know what's going on with people. I mean, truly inside, unless you sit down and have a conversation and get to know them and, kind of learn what makes them tick and that kind of thing. So the biggest thing is just, as much as we like to jaw at each other and, fuck with each other and make every single day, kind of a big road bump. We're sarcastic and that kind of thing, but you never really know what people are actually dealing with. So just being kind to people, and being kind to everybody that we take care of, and that kind of thing, and just being a good example and that kind of thing. That's kind of what I hope other people are able to get from me, is, cause I've had conversations with my crew since I've been in this program. I said, look, if I get a little bit growly with you guys about the way we're doing things, it's not because you're doing them the wrong way. It's because I have probably an unrealistic expectation of how we treat people and how shit gets done around here. And I take that personally. So if I get a little bit, growly with you, that's where it comes from. Just so you know, I'm not mad at you, but I just want to make sure that we provide the people that call us with the most, or the best care that we can possibly give them. And I was like, I've been a medic now for 6 years. It's almost 7 years now. And I was like, there's still a lot of things that I do not know. So I'm not, hanging it over your head that, I'm the medic. I know all. I don't know everything, but I still expect that, we do things the right way and we treat people the way that they deserve to be treated. So that's kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So this kind of goes back to what Chris was saying earlier about, it comes down to professionalism.
Yeah.
Right. And for a long time in the fire service, we've kind of had this idea or whatever, we can laugh and joke and play fuck games and fuck around at the station and all that stuff. And sometimes that stuff gets carried over into how we interact with the public. Yeah. And no, you're still, this is a profession. You are a professional and you have to act like that in the public, because what you do reflects on your department. It reflects on your city, because bottom line is, yeah, we've got our, use the term frequent flyers that we see all the time, right?
High utilizers.
There you go.
Church it up all you want, man. It doesn't change the meaning.
But here's the reality of it. A majority of our calls probably are people that we will never see again. Right. That's the one time in their life that they called 911, and that's the one interaction that, or the one chance you have to make an impression on those people. And that's what they are going to associate with all firefighters. Of, well, these guys showed up and, grandma was, having an issue and they were just dicks, or, needed my smoke detector battery changed or whatever, and they were kind of assholes or whatever it may be, or they broke this and they didn't need to. And no, just be nice.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
Be professional, be nice. This is your career. Treat it like that.
Right.
It's called outreach.
Oh, God. Chris is about to get on soapbox.
Nope.
Outreach. Go.
Nope. Did it last time. Go watch the other episode. Watch it 3 times.
Get it ingrained in your memory.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a big thing for me, is
If you treat people the right way, you'll never do wrong by them.
Right.
It's pretty fucking simple.
Yeah.
Even if they deserve an ass chewing, it's probably not the right time to do it. If it felt good, saying, shut up, Moran. If it felt good saying it, it was wrong.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. If you feel like, oh, thank God I said that to him. No, you were wrong. You can educate in the proper and professional way.
You can still be firm, but nice.
Firm, but fair.
Firm, but fair. Because sometimes you have to be direct with people. Like,
you can be direct, just don't be an asshole.
Whenever you guys went through paramedic school, did they talk to you guys about notifying the family? Like, if you're working a code and you're going to have to terminate, like, how do you talk to the family members? Like, what did they tell you?
So actually for me,
it was plain language.
It kind of contradicted what I thought. I thought, like, hi, blah, blah, blah. And like, it was dead, deceased, expired, where the terms are like, those are the terms you use. And I was like, oh, those sound terrible. Now, like, because I made the mistake of like, honey, they've passed. Where'd they go? And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is what they were talking about. Shit, how do I get my way out of this?
I know exactly how he went. They went to heaven. That's what Moran said. I guarantee it.
That's a pretty big assumption there. But no, I mean, you
need to use words that can't be misconstrued. It's pretty simple there, but being direct and being an asshole are two different things.
Exactly. That's my point.
Don't exactly, Jeremy. You're probably the biggest asshole in this room.
Whoa, easy.
Seconded.
What makes me the biggest asshole, Moran?
You don't know how to talk to people.
Seconded.
Go ahead, Jason. Say third. Say it.
All in favor? All in favor?
Because I'm direct? Is that why?
No, you're just an asshole.
Well, and I mean, it's just kind of weird that, I mean, a lot of the younger generation doesn't understand the difference between the two. I mean, they just don't. You can't teach them the same way. You can't talk to them the same way.
So some of that's emotion based.
You are the younger generation. What the fuck are you talking? You haven't even hit 30 yet.
Dickheads to me too.
When have I ever been a dickhead to you,
Never.
Jason?
Oh, don't lie to him. Don't you dare sit here and lie. You've done great this.
He told me I needed new boots.
An hour and 1 minute, you've been great. Now you're going to fucking lie? No.
He told me I needed new boots one time, and I didn't go get new boots. So,
well, it's just like everybody else. You just ignored me.
Yep.
It's a fucking safety issue. I didn't want you to get hurt. And I was nice about it, wasn't I?
Yeah, I stepped on a rusty nail before I got new ones, but I did go get
Christ.
See, now he's like, this is why I can't fucking deal with you.
And his arm was sore for 2 weeks afterwards.
I didn't do that.
Oh, yes. You have to be direct.
Yeah.
Like, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the whole, like, for firefighters, especially going to get help with our mental health, is culturally competent clinicians, by and large, what have we all learned? They're pretty much all of them, the ones that deal with us. The best ones are the ones that are direct. Oh, they don't pussyfoot around shit.
When my fucking impact statement, this is when I knew I was in for a fucking ride. It was like on my second week, like, I don't know, it was like day 2 of my second week, and I had to do my impact narrative. It was like the why you are here. And I read it, and David's like, okay, so let me ask you about this. Okay, what about this? Did you ever think about this? No. Yeah, because you're fucking stupid. And I'm like, whoa, all right, buckle up. And it was literally like that the whole rest of the class. Was it not? Like,
it was.
But yeah, Jeremy, you and I have talked a lot too on this. Like, especially after this class, I believe the number one thing you have to have in your healing and processing journey is accountability. And it's really easy. You know, David talked a lot about in our class, like, it's really easy to be the villain. It is really easy to fall back in a victim style mentality of like, God damn, all this stuff happened to me. But the minute you have to say, what did I do to contribute to that? That's a hard fucking pill to swallow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're 100% right. And that's something that we do very well is slide into the victim mentality of, oh, well, I ran calls all night long or, you know, I had this bad thing happen to me or this or that or the other thing, instead of going, well, you know what? I kind of did that to myself. I kind of made that decision and this is how it's impacting me now. So now I have to kind of fucking deal with it.
A big one for me, like, Jason, I'm sure you've done this. Like, I don't want to run this patient. It may be a fall. Let's just turn it into a lift assist. And then we're pissed because we're back 2 hours later.
Right.
Well, buddy, we did that to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and like, as far as we were talking about accountability a little bit, like I started working with a trainer and he's been awesome. He's helped me a lot. He's wrote my diet and my workouts, and really they haven't changed. I've been doing it for about 8 weeks now. But like at the end of the day, if you don't get where you want to go, like it's nobody else's fault but your own. And just the fact that, you know, I check in with him every Monday, like it'll make you think about what you're doing the 6 days before that, because it's like, well, if I do this and I don't, you know, I don't have any success, like it's on you. It's on nobody else. He laid out everything that I needed to do, you know, to be where I want to be. But if I don't get there, like, fuck, that's my fault. That ain't anybody else's fault. So just having that extra little bit of accountability with like, hey, on Mondays, like you got to send me, you know, everything that you did and the sheet of, you know, what you weigh and what you ate and all that kind of shit. Like it has made a huge difference. So the accountability in the program is fantastic. So, and I think that's a big part of success, and whatever you do is just being accountable. So,
and it's fucking hard. There were a lot of days I was just like pulling my metaphorical hair out. And they're like, it just like, make it fucking make sense. And it was just, there was a time, I don't think you were in there yet, Jason. There was a time when I had to do the goddamn responsibility matrix. And oh man, I was shaking. I was so mad, but it is what, like, I am better for it.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Personal accountability, personal responsibility. I mean, you kind of see that just in general society now.
Yeah.
Of there's a lack of that kind of stuff.
it's everybody else's fault.
Yep.
So
That's how we fix the world, people.
Blame it on somebody else.
Exactly.
It's the government's fault.
oh boy.
Thanks, Obama. I mean, we are straight up 2 presidents removed, and I still blame a lot of shit. I still say thanks, Obama, for almost everything.
Yeah.
It's all of them. Both sides and the third party. It's all of them.
Oh, yeah.
They're all equally worthless.
I don't know why I like to blame shit on him. I just do.
That's because of the meme that was out during, I forget what it was. He promised something and it didn't happen. And
What, you mean he did what every politician does?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. You want to go really deep down the rabbit hole, personal accountability. We have no one to blame but ourselves, because we're the ones who keep electing these idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Like the person that, I don't know if you guys saw, they were having some kind of Senate hearing about, they were going to like add some more troops or something to Guam because of military base there.
God.
Right. And this senator, he is it's a senator.
He's
Responsible for running this country, raised his hand for a question and said, well, if we add more people, won't the island flip over? That's not how islands work.
And God bless the general. That was just like, because you could hear it in his voice and see in his face. He was like, this fucking idiot.
See,
Well,
and that's
the flat earth. And
Yeah.
but see, that's where I think you get a pass on. You don't have to be kind to those people. Like, that's where you just rip them a new asshole.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. I'm glad it was that guy, because I'm like, are you stupid? Like, is this a real question? Are you fucking with me?
Are you God
fucking
damn
with
it,
me?
kid, are you fucking with me?
So gonna Billy Bob Thornton that guy.
somebody drop you on your head? On my head?
I was like, am I not punked? Where's Ashton Kutcher? They bring that shit back.
Dax Shepard's doing it since he ain't doing any movies.
Didn't have to.
Yeah,
He married Kristen
yeah,
Bell.
yeah. See, after when you married the star of Frozen, you're good.
Oh, man. All right. Well, anything else you want to add?
No, I don't have anything else. That's pretty much it.
You sure? Nothing?
I will. I'll say if you feel, I just hope that anybody else that has any problems or with anything, whether that's depression, controlling your emotions, your relationships with people or your work environment, just know that you're not alone. There's a lot of other people that have felt or still do feel exactly like you do. There's really no shame in going and talking to somebody, whatever that looks like for you, whether that's, a treatment program or talking to somebody, just one-on-one, whatever works for you, whatever you can do for yourself to do it. I would highly recommend doing it. And, I was the youngest person in my class by a lot. And, I'd never, so there's really like, even if you're a young person, like I got a lot of compliments from David and Cam and everybody, like, we're so fucking proud of you for being in here when you're in here, because what would be the purpose of you living the next 30 fucking years of your life and being upset, and disappointed and angry and depressed, all that kind of shit. I mean, so the quicker you do something about it, I promise you're going to feel significantly better. And regret weighs tons. So don't, if you feel like you want to do it, do it. So that's kind of what I'd recommend people to do. And, I'd more than happy sit down. If anybody wants to talk about it, I'd talk to them about it. So
Yeah, for sure. Don't wait.
no.
So, I mean, yeah. What's the downside of going now? You're going to feel better sooner?
Yeah.
I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Novel fucking thought. James, closing thoughts.
I really haven't even talked to Jason a lot face to face since he left, but I'm just so, I literally said when I saw him out of Gage, I fucking cried like a little bitch. Just because I remember, I remember what it took for him to get to that point. And I remember our phone calls, kind of leading up to that, and just like he trusted the process and it worked for him. And it's not like, oh, he went, he's done, he's good, he gets to go back to doing whatever he wants. Like, it's a continual fight every fucking day.
Yeah, it's by no means just by going, daily. Do you get, and because like I remember when I got out of the program, I was like kind of upset about it. Like, and that was another common thing is like, what the fuck was that?
I was kicking shit. Sorry.
That was another common thing between a lot of people that went, is that when it was time to leave, they're like, yep, nope, fuck that, I ain't doing that. Like, I
drag my ass out of here.
I ain't fucking leaving. Because because you would go and you would feel better about, everything that yourself and everything that you're doing. You would, it would make a difference in your life daily. And then here comes a time they're like, you're done. And you're like, nope. Because like, where you were before you got into the program, and you're like, well, that's not me anymore. I don't want to do that. And now it's like, like
release you back into the wild.
Into the wild.
Yeah.
So
that's
there's mean people out there.
That's the importance of, you take those skills that you learned and apply them, but also having the realization and the self-awareness to go, you know what? I've got these skills. I'm going to apply them. And if at some point it's like, these skills aren't quite enough, maybe I'm going to go see a therapist, or maybe I'm going to talk to somebody in peer support or something like that. And you do it as a preventative measure instead of the, oh shit, the wheels are falling off measure.
Yeah.
I know for me, like having have you done your one-on-ones?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you better fucking get on.
I know. I definitely need to.
Because when I started mine, it was very much like as I'm sitting there talking, he's like, tell me what's going on. I'm like, well, here's this problem, but then I use this class to work on that. And then there was this problem, and I use that class to work on this. And he's like, and then I was like, oh, that's why you want to do the class for one-on-ones. I get it now.
Right. Yeah. And when you first sign up and you realize what it is, you're like, what the fuck? Like, I'm supposed to get better with all these people, but then you realize, like, towards the end of it, and even now, like, I haven't been back to one-on-ones. I feel like I've done and just being 100% honest with myself, like, I feel like I've done a great job of applying everything that I learned. And I mean, it doesn't mean that because you're finished, the bad days are over. You're still going to have bad days. There's still going to be stuff that happens, that on a daily basis that, like, before it would have been, pretty catastrophic. But now, I have the framework to be able to deal with those kind of things without losing my mind and, going off the rails. So by no means at the end of the program are you fixed. It's a continual daily effort to be a better person than the day that you were before, and to not fall back into the stupid ways of coping with shit that you did before. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Chris, final thoughts?
I'm going to pass it back to him. He's killing everybody's final thoughts. So
yeah,
he's doing a great job.
He even said your exit, Jeremy. He was like,
we're done. He got it all.
What did I do?
You stole Jeremy's thunder, and I am proud of you for that.
We're so happy.
I think I'm more proud of that than going to the program.
He didn't quite steal it. I mean, he appropriated some of it, but
he stole your shit.
He did. Shut up.
Whatever. Fine. If you're struggling, reach out.
I'm struggling to listen to you right now. So
you're kind of NPR in it here.
You know what? If either of you two cocksuckers
got him,
not you, because I let you do the intro one time and it was terrible. If you want to sit there and do the intro,
I don't have a voice for radio, and we all know it.
You got a face for it, that's for sure. Voice for silent movies.
Perfect. I'm gonna be rich. I'm bringing them back.
All right. If you are struggling, reach out. There are resources. How you get a boo during that?
Jason was
because I want Jason to do it, not you.
Go ahead, Jason.
Well,
finish it out for us.
I'm not sure exactly how this is supposed to go, but I have a pretty good idea. If you are struggling, reach out. The resources are there in place for you. And I think you'll be proud that you did. You'll definitely be proud of yourself. Everybody else around you will notice the difference. That's that.
Just say thanks for stopping by and we're good.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.